Imagine waking up the morning of the 2026 World Cup final, and the two players walking out of that tunnel are players you thought you'd never see again. Not highlights, not Legends Night, not a charity match. The actual World Cup final. The real thing. The trophy on the line. Now here's the question nobody's asking. What would actually happen if FIFA gave them one more shot? What if, somehow, the rules changed, the clock reversed, and the greatest players of their generation step back onto the world's biggest stage? Because on paper, it sounds incredible. But what really happens is something nobody saw coming. Let's go back, not far, just 3 years. 2023. The conversation starts quietly, the way all dangerous ideas do. FIFA, under mounting pressure to make World Cup 2026 the most watched sporting event in human history. 48 teams, 3 host nations, a billion-dollar media deal, starts asking a very uncomfortable question behind closed doors. What if retired players could return? Not just anyone. Legends. The players who defined an era. The ones fans are still paying to watch in documentaries and YouTube compilations at 2 in the morning. At first, it's laughed out of the room. A publicity stunt. A gimmick. But then someone runs the numbers, and that's when everything changes. Here's what nobody tells you about the 2026 World Cup. It was already in trouble before a single ball was kicked. Viewership projections weren't hitting targets. The golden generation of 2014-2018, the players who made people fall in love with football, were gone. Retired, done. And the new generation? Brilliant. But not yet them. Not yet that. So when a senior FIFA executive, and we won't name him, but trust me, you'd recognize the name, quietly proposes a legend clause, a special exemption allowing retired players over 35 to register for one final World Cup cycle, the conversation stops being theoretical. It gets very, very real. And the first name on the list? You already know. Lionel Messi. 39 years old. Inter Miami. Still playing club football, but everyone knows it. You can see it. The spark is there, but the World Cup ship has sailed. Or has it? Because here's the thing about Messi that the football world conveniently forgets. He won his World Cup in 2022. He got the ending. He got the sunset. The perfect cinematic finish in Qatar. But what if Argentina calls again? What if Scaloni picks up the phone and says, one more time? What does Messi do? And more importantly, what does it do to Argentina? Because this is where the story gets complicated. This is the part nobody's talking about. The legend clause passes. Hypothetically, stay with me. FIFA approves it under strict conditions. One tournament, special medical clearance, no extensions. And within 72 hours, the football world detonates. Every retired legend on earth is suddenly a World Cup story again. Ronaldo, 41 years old, still at Al Nassr. And the question immediately becomes not, can he return, but will Portugal let him? Because Portugal has moved on. Vitina Trincao, a devastating new generation. And bringing Ronaldo back doesn't just add a player, it rearranges everything. The tactics, the mentality, the pressure. It's not a boost, it might be a bomb. But Ronaldo says yes. Of course he does. And that's where the first crack appears. Let's be honest about something. When legends return, in any sport, in any era, there are 2 stories that always play out. The redemption arc, or the cruel exposure. There is no middle ground. And in the summer of 2026, with 60,000 fans in Dallas, Texas watching Ronaldo step onto that pitch for Portugal's opening group game, you can feel it in the air. Everyone in that stadium wants to believe. But belief, as it turns out, is not a substitute for 41-year-old hamstrings and 22-year-old pressing machines running at full speed. The first 45 minutes are, fine, Portugal win. Ronaldo doesn't score, but he creates something. The crowd goes wild on his name alone. And the commentators say the words nobody should ever say about a returning legend. He still got it. Because that's the sentence that comes right before the fall. Now let's talk about the other side of this. The teams that don't use the legend clause. England, France, Brazil. They look at this new rule and make a calculated decision. We don't need our past. We trust our present. And for exactly 23 days, that calculation looks genius. Brazil, without Neymar, without any returning legend, are playing the most fluid, terrifying football of any team in the tournament. Young, fast, hungry. No nostalgia. Pure football. France are the same. Mbappe orchestrating everything. No ghosts. And here's where the twist arrives. Because while Argentina, with Messi back, are grinding through games on magic and nerves, while Portugal, with Ronaldo back, are managing egos and logistics and tactical nightmares. The teams that trusted youth are flying. And then, in the quarterfinals, Brazil face Argentina. Stop. Just stop and think about what that means. Messi, 39, won last World Cup against the team that broke their hearts in 1950, in 2014, in every generation that came before. Argentina versus Brazil in the 2026 World Cup quarterfinal is not a football match. It's a reckoning. And before a single pass is played, someone leaks a photo. Messi in training, grimacing. A small muscle issue. Nothing serious, the camp says immediately. He'll play. But the image is already everywhere. And now the whole world is watching for the wrong reason. The match. 90 minutes. Then extra time. Then penalty shootout. I'm not going to tell you who wins. Not yet. Because what truly matters, is the moment in the 67th minute when Messi receives the ball 30 yards from goal with 3 defenders closing. For 1 second, one single second, you see it. The old Messi, the acceleration, the shift of weight, the defender left behind, and then the foul, the whistle, the Argentine fans screaming, and Messi, lying on the turf, takes a breath. You watch his face, really watch it. And he's not angry. He's smiling, because he knows something none of us do yet. The penalty shootout goes to sudden death. 7 rounds. The stadium is barely breathing. And then Argentina's captain steps up. Not Messi. A 24-year-old from Buenos Aires who was 8 years old when Messi first played his World Cup. He scores. Brazil miss. Argentina are through. And Messi, still on the pitch, still in his boots, still there, walks to the young striker and puts both hands on his face and says something. Nobody hears it. No microphone catches it. But whatever it is, the kid bursts into tears. This is where the legend clause becomes something bigger than football. Because in the semifinal, Messi doesn't start. Scaloni makes the call. Protect him. Bring him on when needed. Argentina win without him playing a single minute, and the debate begins. Was it the right call? Is Messi actually helping, or has the most beloved player in football history become a symbolic passenger? Meanwhile, Portugal collapse in the quarterfinals. Ronaldo, magnificent for 60 minutes, is substituted at halftime of the second game with a hamstring concern. Portugal lose on penalties. Exit. Ronaldo's last World Cup ends on a bench, watching, helpless. Except, and this is the part that hits differently, when the final whistle blows, he doesn't cry. He walks into the tunnel, stops, and looks back at the pitch for exactly 4 seconds. 4 seconds. Nobody knows what he's thinking. But in those 4 seconds, 30 years of football flashes past, and then he's gone. The 2026 World Cup final is Argentina versus France. Messi versus Mbappe. 39 versus 27. The past versus the future, playing out in real time on the same pitch. And here's the thing that nobody, not one expert, not one pundit, not one retired legend, predicted at the beginning of this. Messi starts. Scaloni plays him. From the first whistle. Why? Because Scaloni understands something that the entire world has missed. This was never about whether Messi could still compete physically. It was about what Messi represents to every player on that pitch. He is the reason half of Argentina's squad started playing football. He doesn't need to score. He doesn't need to dribble past anyone. He just needs to be there. The final goes to extra time. Again. Because of course it does. And in the 109th minute with 1 minute left, Messi receives a pass on the edge of the box. He doesn't shoot. He sees a run. A young winger born in 2004 sprinting into space. And the pass Messi plays is so precise, so impossibly weighted, that the winger doesn't even have to break stride. He slots it. Right corner. Goalkeeper doesn't move. Argentina lead. France attack. Desperately. Mbappe furious. Brilliant. Human. The whistle goes. Argentina are 2026 World Cup champions. But here's the image you'll never forget. After the trophy lift, after the fireworks, after the chaos, Messi sits alone on the grass. In the middle of the pitch. Boots still on. Jersey soaked. No camera gets close enough to hear anything. He's just, well, there. 39 years old, 2 World Cup medals, and the longest career in the history of football. And somewhere in the stands, a kid, maybe 10, maybe 11, is watching him, holding a small Argentine flag, not knowing yet that what they just witnessed will define what they chase for the next 20 years. The legend clause changed one World Cup, but Messi, sitting on that grass, in that silence, in that moment, changed football forever. Again.